So I don't know what we're gonna do with sound because y'all know copyright laws and stuff is real out here in the field. But welcome to another episode of Tyson Unfiltered. It has been a minute. Whew. Y'all know this is a show for me really because the last year and a half I've spent my time working as a television executive, which spends a lot of time behind the camera, creating ideas, helping to create ideas, helping others get their ideas on TV, all of that behind the scenes stuff, which is really fun and exciting, but that's just not all that I do. So anyway, I created this show because as I still have to create content, I also want to do only the things that I really enjoy and care about, and here we are. This show is not necessarily experimental, but it's kind of experimental. It's experimental in the fact that there are no boundaries on the show. There's no format, things just happen. It's my brainchild, Unfiltered. You know, I keep getting approached to create shows and to do different things, and I kind of want to try things out before we go full steam ahead on TV. So that's why I said it's experimental. I know what I want, but I just like to see how this develops. So welcome back to Tyson Unfiltered. So I don't even remember the last time we talked. There's been so much that has taken place. I know I spoke to y'all after I came back from Cancun and I was in like the final stages of school. Well, I graduated. I haven't gotten that diploma in the mail yet, but I did graduate on July 22nd. It was an incredible time.
And now production graduates of Full Sail University.
Thank you to everybody, my family and friends that came out to the graduation and or the graduation celebration there in Orlando. My cousins, Kim and Kenny, thank you for opening up your beautiful home and letting us take over. It was everything. I'm so happy I did that. And then immediately following graduation, I've been everywhere. So I went to New York immediately after graduation and spent about a week in New York, and it was so much fun. What did I do? I went to The View. Y'all know I'm a huge talk show junkie, so I went to The View. Whoopi Goldberg even flirted with me a little bit, and y'all remember a few episodes ago, I was just talking about Whoopi. I still didn't get to take her to lunch, but someone from The View, someone that works at The View, took me to lunch. So it's crazy that I just mentioned Whoopi Goldberg and wanting to take her out to lunch. And then I go to The View. I do have an interaction with Whoopi Goldberg. She low-key was hitting on your boy. What's up, Whoopi? What's up? And then to have someone from The View take me to lunch. So it was an amazing day. I will never forget that day. Shout out to Regina and everybody over there at The View. What else? Went and saw my first Broadway show. My first Broadway show on Broadway. So I had seen shows like Hamilton and Lion King and a few others, but as they traveled, never actually in New York on Broadway. So that was awesome. What else? New York was just the whole vibe. I mean, you'll have to go through my Instagram and I'll put a collage and stuff together. You can check out New York. But then I went to DC. Washington, DC was everything.
My travels have brought me to our nation's capital. That's right, I'm in Washington, DC, in Union Station. What's up, Kamala? What's up, Joe? But
yeah, so Unfiltered, right? So Washington, DC. Oh, I hate it when the show, damn you, show. The show always wins. So, as I think I mentioned before, I was starting to tiptoe into the world of dating. Oh God, y'all know I don't like to talk about my personal life, but that's the nature of the show. So anyway, I had started to tiptoe into dating, and not that everything just went wrong. It didn't go wrong. It's just timing was bad. And so I have thus slowed down on the dating. Not saying that I'm not, it's just that work comes first. That's all. So going to DC, that was supposed to be a mix of business and pleasure, if you will, and there was no pleasure. All business, which is fine. Yes, that's all I'm gonna say. Not that I'm keeping secrets, but you know. What else? So I get back to LA, and it was really hard to turn this camera on and do this show. You know, as I keep saying, this is not a show for a network yet. You know, I have other shows that are on network where they kind of set the time frame. When you shoot, when you don't shoot, who's doing what. Like, there's a little structure, but there's a little bit of a whip involved. You don't get the final say. But with this show, nobody's making me turn the camera on, you know. This is for me, and it just was a lot. It just was, I was really nervous to come back, because I know with other shows, I don't have to, you know, let my guard down and just be me. On other shows, all I have to do is, you know, push out whatever it is that I'm doing. But with this, I kind of have to be in it. And so that makes it a little bit more difficult. But here I am. And I also wanted to get back to a rhythm with the show. Like when you do shows, so this is something for everybody. When you do anything, talk show, podcast, whatever, you only get better the more times you do it. And if you aren't doing it, you almost get out of your rhythm a little bit. And it's like a muscle. It's like when people talk about muscle memory, you work out for a long time, you get this body, and then you take some time off, and it's always a little bit difficult to get back in it, but your muscle comes back, and then you're all good. Your muscle memory never left, it just needed to be engaged. That's doing talk shows, hosting shows, all of that is a muscle. And so not using it for the last 3 weeks, maybe a month. And I say that lightly because I have been doing the Caribbean Music Countdown, but once again, I can do that and never have to give you the person. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just giving you your top 5 countdowns. I'm telling you what's going on, but you don't have to connect with me and know what's going on in my life. What am I up to? The good, the bad, the ugly. Like, it's just a different beast. So, yeah. But I made myself turn this camera on. You know, actually going a little bit deeper, this season for me, because after you graduate, after you accomplish something, the pressure even turns up a notch. Like, what I have realized is that there's never a place or a point in life where things calm down, things become quote unquote easy. Like, that doesn't happen. I thought, okay, once we get through the pandemic, I can breathe, and things have only intensified. There's still they just invaded Trump's place not too long ago. He still hasn't been brought to justice. There's still anarchy out here in the streets, like, still. I thought when I was pledging, oh, y'all see the alpha in the back. I thought when I was pledging, okay, once I cross, I can breathe, and there were brothers that would tell me, you do realize that once you cross, work doesn't stop, it actually increases. And I heard that, I didn't get it. I get it now. So I thought after grad school, okay, once I get this checked off, then I can fill in the blank. It doesn't decrease, there's always more. it's just what you do with it, and knowing that there's always going to be more. There's no need to, if you don't ever prepare for the moment where it's going to be easy, then your brain isn't, and your emotions and whatever else is tied to that thought isn't disappointed when that doesn't happen, because stuff only increases. I just feel like if you know what you're dealing with, you can operate better. So understanding that, doing the show and trying to figure out what is next, what is the next project that I want to take on, what is the next move that I want to make post grad school graduation. Do I want to continue on with, or not do I want to, I am, but are we only focusing on the production company, or are we also focusing on Tyler as talent? Like, those are two different, you move differently depending on which one you choose here. So I've really been taking time, and I brought my notes with me because I mean the stuff that I say. The other day, as I was trying to answer some of these questions, I was like, okay, we got to get down to just the bare bones basics here. Who do we want to be? And I'm talking in first person. So I said, who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Number one, television personality, a host, talent, actor. Those are the things that I have trained for my entire life. I don't want to throw them to the wayside because now I understand the business side of things also. I don't want to throw them to the wayside because I have this degree. No, this has always been number one. So that is my number one. Then I need to move where that can continue to be number one. Now, number two is content creator. And I don't listen. I can't believe I'm sharing this with y'all. That's how comfortable I am sharing my personal notes. I never do that. Content creator, that's number two. So as a television executive, yes, you make these decisions. Yes, you create content. Yes. That kind of, you can be a content creator. You can be either one. You know what I mean? Like, you can be a content creator and not be a television executive. And you can be a television executive that doesn't really create content. However, the television executive may not be directly creating the content, but they have a hand in content creation. So you can be a television executive and still create content without creating content. I hope that made sense. If it didn't, rewatch it, it'll make sense later. So I still want the power that comes with being a television executive. I still want to sit at the table and make those decisions, you know, what's greenlit and what isn't. I still want to do those things, but I also want to be able to create content that I care about. So content creator is number two. And I go through the list of different types of content that I want to create. It's not like I haven't done these things before. I've done TV shows. I've already created I helped produce a number of television shows. I haven't done any film. I haven't done any movies, but there's still time on the clock. As you guys know, I've been incorporating more music into everything that I do because music is life. I have shot a documentary or two. I want to do another one. I want to do a music video. I love music videos, so I'm going to get into that as well. So there's just some things that I know I can create: talk shows, television shows, all of those things that I will still continue to create, but I just want to expand beyond the things that I've already done. And thirdly, this is something that I really put aside because I have to do it my way. Our education system, as much as I am a product of public school education, and you can absolutely get a quality education going to public school, you got to be strategic about which schools you go to and how you move, but it can happen, and I'm a product of that. But I taught high school for 2.5 years. I spent a year as a sub and then a year and a half as like a permanent teacher. And I loved it. There's no greater job really than being a teacher. I've always loved being a teacher. So number 3 on my list is I'm getting back into the education field. That may be as a private tutor, that may be on the collegiate level, that may just be virtually through people that sign up that want to learn how to speak publicly, that want to get over the nervousness that comes with speaking publicly, all of those things. Somehow, some way, education is number 3 on my list. So that's my top 3. So I challenge everyone that's trying to figure out exactly what they want to do next, what their next moves are, all of those things. Take a moment, be quiet, be still, meditate, pray, whatever mental space, whatever you need to do to get to that mental space, and then just really figure out, who do you want to be? At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, who do you want to be? Answer that question. And then from there, you can start making moves towards your goals. So anyway, I asked that question. Then a friend of mine asked me this, and it's something that I'm going to say this one time and I'll probably never say it again. It's something that I had thought about a number of times, and had done it on my own, but it always hits different when somebody else asks you. So I'm a thinker. I am somebody so I'm a thinker and I'm an only child. So I know how to be alone and be comfortable and good. So that's a dangerous combination, by the way, because I sit around and I think all the time. I think and I strategize and I plan. And so when people mention stuff to me as I'm beginning to open up to various people and have conversations, and they come to me with the wisdom that they have been given and they lay it down, I almost feel not guilty. What is the word when people, not contradictory, I can't think of the word. It's the word where someone is offering you condescending. I almost feel condescending because when it's said, I'm always like, oh, I thought about that yesterday. It's like, well, you can't always be thinking about the same thing that I'm mentioning. And it's like, well, yeah, I do, because that's all I do is think. I just don't, when I think about stuff and I come up with ideas and I do it for myself, I just don't share it. So my friend said, oh, well, who has a career like the one that you have? List that and then model yourself after those people. And that is something that I was already kind of doing. I've said since probably 2018, somewhere back there's 3 people that have been very instrumental in me going into this field, being in this field, and actually thinking I have a shot. And one of them has been Terrence J. When Terrence J first came on the scene, really, really came on the scene, I was in college. And when I saw him on 106 in Park, my thought was, oh, wow, there is a lane for me, because I was in journalism school, you don't know, but in journalism school, they teach you a lot about news. They prepare you to go to that anchor desk at ABC, CBS, NBC, MS, whoever, and sit there and deliver the news and give it to you straight and no emotion attached to it, whatever. There were 25,000, 100 million people shot up at a prepared. But that's not what I always wanted to do the fun stuff. I want to talk about music. I want to tell somebody's story that overcame something amazing. I don't want to be the person that every time you turn on the TV, it's like, oh, well, here he comes with some news again. Here comes Ted Koppel. Here comes Peter Jennings. Oh, here comes Lester Holt. What you got for me today? All right, here we go. Let me hold on tight. I don't want to be that guy. Now, although I love my news anchors, because that's me. I love David Muir. I love me some David Muir. Kenneth Moulton over there on ABC. There are a bunch. Anyway, I saw Terrence J. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then even watching him as we both have grown, and watching him go from 106 in Park to then being with E, to then even getting bigger and bigger and positioning himself with Viacom, where he can work with BET and MTV and VH1 and whoever and create his own content. He was producing a lot of game shows for a while. I respect and love his career. So number one on my list, Terrence J. So I'm not gonna go through because my list has changed. So it used to be Terrence J, Steve Harvey, obviously, because for me, it wasn't that Steve did exactly what I wanted to do, because he's a stand-up comic at his core. But, you know, he had every show in the world on TV for a period of time. You know, you had the talk show, the morning show was on the radio, the Family Feud, not Celebrity Family Feud, Your Family Feud, His Family Feud, some other stuff over here. Like, he had a lot going on. So I appreciate him. So he was someone else that I looked up to. But I had to take Steve off my list because I have no intention of being a stand-up comic. So yeah, the hustle of it all, yes, but just a different lane. I had to make some more space. He's still on my list. He's just not my top 3 where it's like I need to be moving like Steve Harvey. Another person that the other person, obviously, third is Oprah. So let me also say this. Steve and Oprah both, even though they're completely different and definitely impacted me in completely different ways, they will forever be on the list. So even though Steve isn't in my top 5 or whatever for like immediate moves to make, he will forever be on my list as someone that I look up to and as a guide in this industry. Oprah is the same thing for me. You know, I don't know if this was a thing, but I, for some reason, remember she even stopped nominating me for awards for my talk show, because at this point, there are no more awards that I can get to make me feel like, oh, my show is great. And then there are some newer shows that are out here that really are great, that are just being overshadowed by my hugeness as Oprah. But anyway, so Oprah's not on my list, but she's for like Oprah, Barbara Walters, point blank in the period. I would not be in the journalism lane if it wasn't for them. I watched all of their interviews. I studied the way that they talked. I watched the way that Oprah brilliantly would navigate her questions with her interviewees, and how I remember she interviewed the great Whitney Houston, and you know, she asked, was there any abuse? No, there was no abuse, Oprah. There was none. There was none. Oprah wiggled that and went all the way back around, and by the middle to end of that interview, we had found out he had slapped her, he spat on her, he did all of these things, when just a few minutes ago she said there was nothing. So Oprah was like a genius. Barbara Walters with her intensity. And I love how Barbara would not even talk in a tone, she hit you with a whisper. It's like, oh, Barbara's not playing with y'all. Anyway, so you just make a list of the people that are doing the things that you want to do. So on my list right now, Terrence J, Michael B. Jordan, Michael Strahan, Issa Rae, Tamron Hall. Those are my top 5 for right now, with doing things that I want to do. Obviously, I already went through Terrence J. I mentioned being an actor. Michael B. Jordan is a phenomenal actor. I love his existence in the media space. He's not overly exposed, but he's exposed enough. He's let y'all into his personal, and now he's not. Like, I really respect, he has a very great reputation within the industry. I haven't had the pleasure to meet or work with him. The closest I got was working with the award show that I worked with for a while, and we did like a screening series of one of his newest movies, which at the time was Creed 2. And we had the director and the writers and some people there. He didn't come, but that was the closest I ever got, which isn't very close. So yeah, and also I started out acting, like, coming from Orlando, there was a period when I was a kid where Orlando was the capital of the world for like children actors. And so I went through like Lisa Mailey's acting and modeling school. I went through Ariza's talent agency, which they had an acting and modeling school. I was a regular extra feature, whatever you want to call it, with Universal Studios, Nickelodeon Studios, when they were filming a lot of shows at Nickelodeon, all of the game shows, Taina, a few of the little teen dramas. So I'm not new to this acting thing. I even did a movie that was an HBO production. I'm not sure if it aired on HBO, but the lady, y'all remember the Pine Saw lady? She played my mother. And I had a drug dealer big brother, who had just gotten like released from jail or something, and I was outside washing the car. I wish I could find. I was outside washing the car, and he comes along, he comes along. I see him, and when I see him, I grab the basketball. Now I can't play basketball, but I grabbed this basketball and pretended to play out there in the middle. And it was a whole thing. I gotta see if I can find it. So anyway, Michael B. Jordan because of the acting. Michael Strahan, once again, the hosting, the Good Morning shows and game shows and all of that. Issa Rae, content creator. Going through my master's program, I was constantly citing, studying her media company, Hooray Media, in addition to Lena Waithe and Hillman Productions, in addition to all the other Black-owned production companies. Tamron Hall, to me, I talked about her in another show, so I won't bore you with another long thing about Tamron Hall. I just love her, so she's number 5 on my list. And so yeah, getting back to what I was saying about starting and doing this show. This one's gonna be a little bit longer just because getting back into the flow of it, still trying to find my vibe here, but you can't be afraid of your success, one, and you have to listen. I was told very plainly during my, somewhere around April, I was coming to the end of my graduate program, and I was asking and praying and asking, what am I supposed to do, God? I'm taking out all of these loans to get through school. They're giving me money so that I can survive, but where is my financial abundance coming from? Where am I going to be able to just be comfortable and not have huge amounts of money come in, but then having to hold on to them for so long, where it's just going to be on a regular flow, where I'll get, instead of 20,000 every 6 months, okay, now I'm getting it every 3 or every 2, just something more manageable. And I kid you not, just as plain as day, I heard the words, you do the work, I'll do the rest. You do the work, I'll do the rest. I then began to repeat it. Okay, you do the work, I do the rest. Okay. I have no clue what that means. So I asked right then on this, I was, walking away, headed to the bathroom, into the little vanity area. And I was like, but wait, what does that mean? And so I came right on back in here, actually right here. I was right here where I was praying and talking to God. I wasn't even on my knees. I was sitting on the sofa and just, being still. And I was like, what do you mean? You do the work, I do the rest. God, I need it more clear than that. I still don't get it. What does that mean? And then, just as plain as day, it was, you do the work, be creative, I'll do the rest. You do the work, be creative, I'll do the rest. I started saying that. Okay, well, there we have it. You do the work, be creative, I'll do the work, I'll do the rest. And that is what I've been doing, y'all. And I can't even begin to tell you how my life has opened up and changed. I have traveled around the world with no clear understanding of where anything is coming from, but somehow I have traveled the world. Not only have I traveled the world, I have traveled the world first class and haven't missed anything. Did I spend money? Of course I had to spend money, but it hasn't, so the reason I continue to do this show, I'm being obedient. I don't know exactly what the show is gonna look like. I don't know what the end result is gonna be. As you see, I will go off on tangents trying to explain something, but I'm being obedient. The whole point of all of this, you do the work, be creative, I'll do the rest. I am being obedient. So that is what I admonish you all to do. Take time to be still, clear out the clutter, and the way you clear out the clutter is by doing the things that you love to do. If you love to bike ride, get you a bike and ride it. There's no reason why you are denying yourself from the things that you love. Oh, well, this bill is due. Well, guess what? If you don't have the money to pay the bill, it's still gonna be due. So what you need to do is clear your mind so that you can figure out a way to take care of yourself financially, bills included. No need to stress, just clear your mind. So do the things that you love, get back to yourself, make your list. Everyone and everything else can wait, children included, because even though I'm not a parent, one day soon, God, I hope, but I do know I have parents, and they are their best when they are happiest. They are their best when they're able to be themselves. When one of your parents is stressed, or one of your parents just isn't emotionally there, I'm not saying the parent is of no use to you, but so parents, take care of yourself. And it's okay to tell your kids, okay, I gotta take this day for mommy or for daddy or for however you identify. I gotta take this moment for me. That's okay. Do that. We'll talk next time. Bye, y'all. I'll see y'all on Instagram. Y'all know to follow me at the Tyson. Caribbean Music Countdown comes on every Sunday on National Black Television. Also, all I'm listening to these days is my girl. I am now a huge fan. I respect her so much. I'm talking about Beyonce, by the way. I respect her so much, her work ethic, her musicality, her vision, and I want to play the song because y'all know that's what we do here on the show is we play music, but I know they're gonna ding me for copyright. So my favorite song, it's hard to choose a favorite, but Church Girl is the one I'm leaning towards at this moment.
Powering on.
I still got it.
Welcome to All Tech Lansing.
It's still here. I gotta go because I don't want to get